Okay, welcome. Yeah, I'm in Grenada. No, I'm not in Grenada. I'm just saying that Grenada is the best in the world. Best place to come for vacation. 3 weeks and you'll be in the perfect shape of your life. Beautiful. Okay, so my friend has a farm and he has been running it as a little business, and now he's asking me whether it makes sense to continue milking his cow and making cheese versus his meat production. I guess he's killing his cow. So now we are looking at some of the data that he gave. He gives some financial data. These are actually financial values in dollars. Um, the basic things, total, blah blah blah. We all understand that. I guess that's why I didn't put dollar sign here. All right. So what he wanted is a graphical way to look at the bars against each other, and this was a little bit tricky. But he was doing some temperature, something with temperature and climate, in some research with temperature and climate, and he actually showed me this, and I think I was able to figure out how to use the same data set to have all the plots on the same graph, and have the comparative plots of meat. As you could see, meat is the blue, nice blue. It's the same graph. I was just playing with the format against the total for milk and cheese. So as you could see, the total for milk and cheese here, right, doesn't even compare to, in terms of financial gain, to his beef production. That's a 1200, and here we see simply we have 350. Now that is what his point is. Of course, in real business, you see what this all this is value, and I guess he just wanted a way to compare it. So how did we go about doing this graph? That's what we will look at in this video, and this would be very useful because I see the need for comparing maybe subjects such as maths performance um, against or maybe maths and science against English, or reading A, reading B against total vocabulary score. So let's see how we did this graph. Alright, so Pure Grenada, yeah, that's the place you wanna be. So back to our problem at hand. This is the data we are given. Now you notice here I have some hidden data. It's just some zeros. I have it in white, so you wouldn't see. I just call it spaces. I just put it as spaces. Now I needed this to actually give me the visual appeal, or the appearance of separation between these two and this one. You could put a couple if you want. If you want like 3 or 4, let's put in a couple more. You just copy some. Let's call it spacer 0 and spacer 2. So we'll just use this for spaces. What we do normally, you jump to your insert and you grab your chart, which is this one here, stack. They're all stacked together, and here, while we are on stack, we would select the meat, the beef, which is shown in the green. In this case here, we will right click on this one, the green, and we would format the series to put it onto the secondary chart. What's this here for? Yeah, Pure Grenada again. I love this place. Now, right now, we have separated meat from the milk and cheese. The problem, however, is that there is no space between the charts. You see this one here, there was no sale for beef, so there is no green but hiding the two bars. If I would narrow down, let's say narrow down this, or that's a bad narrow. If I would do this, I would still get a reasonable looking chart just by narrowing this down. And if I do this, you see that it pops back up to the top, but I want it to be secondary right there. So I could use this to give me some play. That's the series overlap which we would use, and the gap to make it a little in, a little out. Now I also want my all these on the space, the space 0, 1 and 2, the holders, the space holders there for me to be the ones to separate out. And to do that, we would want to select them. So we will right click and use the selector. Let's use space 1 and let's make it secondary. Alright, you go right click again, select here space 0, make it a secondary, right click here, space 2, we already had space 2, so space 0, make it a secondary. Now as each became a secondary, what happens now, they would allow us to move the series of the gap away, and it would actually give us the space that we desire. It gives us a little narrowing of the chart, but we could control this using this gap widening tool here, and we will also be able to get some precision as how much we want the gap to be narrowed and so forth and so on. So you basically play with this and you would be able to get your graph. I could get this to look a lot better if we would just widen it a little more. Yep, looks a lot better than now. Alright, so all that we need to do, if we are satisfied that we have our graph, or we need to put some no space, move it a little, let it appear a little closer like this. All that we need to do now is to remove space 1 here by just clicking, select delete, space 0, we don't want it there, and space 2, we don't want it there. And here we could simply delete this, or in my case I'm just gonna hide it by doing this, right? And so my graph is basically complete, but I would like to fix this. Click there, I'm in Excel 2013. I'll just use the 1800 because it's on both primary and secondary axis, so we get a better display of the comparison for the data set. I could actually hide this. You click on it, and I think you go to labels here and you see none, and you would be able to hide this. Okay, this doesn't show my months, so I could right click, select data, edit, pick up my periods and say okay. And there we go. I just need to give beef versus milk and milk and cheese. That's it there, folks. So hope this was useful, and maybe you may use it for something. You know, everything has some use someday. Thank you for viewing. I would just like to remember, Pure Grenada, best place to be. Hey, thank you for viewing. I would like you to look down there in my little description for the on the video in YouTube. You would be able to download that same data file, be able to use it. Thank you very much.